I'm so glad
Hi.
that you were able to sign back on. I had your paperwork in front of me and I found your phone number and I'm glad that we were able to get connected um back. And that's for future reference. You know, if you do disconnect again, just use the same link. I'll be here waiting. But in the case, you know, that it takes a little bit too long, of course, I'm going to call you again and try to see what it can be done. Louisiana does have a bit of an allowed thing if I deem it okay to do audio only. But because this is our first session, it is of like the importance that we do it through video. Okay, but I'm
Okay.
glad that we're able to sign on. That is the best number to contact you for future
Yes.
ones? Okay, perfect.
Uh-huh.
And you feel like you have enough privacy for us to go ahead and deep dive into um, the reason that brought you back into counseling?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So, I want to go ahead and just start by, you know, asking, you know, what story that is playing out in your current life that has brought you to seek counseling at this moment.
Well, I had for the first time in 28 years, I'm a college student again,
Okay.
and I was not able to finish because, in the middle of school, I developed, I was undergoing an aggressive form of chemo, and then had to actually sit out a semester. But then when I came back and I finally graduated, a couple of years after that, my dad got sick, and which would eventually become lung cancer. And then my mom got sick, not tail end of that with Alzheimer's, dementia, and breast cancer. So really, for the last 20 years, my career has been taking care of my parents, but they're both deceased now, but they're not suffering anymore. But so now I'm able to get back to my life. I mean, I don't regret taking care. I mean, it was an honor to take care of my parents, but so much has changed since then. Like this format wasn't even an afterthought in 1997 when I graduated. So just the change in the formats, the depersonalization of the learning process has been the biggest. I think that's the best way to sum it up is the readjustment to the depersonalization of the learning process as it is now.
Wow. Well, for starters, I'm so sorry for the loss of your parents. They seem to be very influential people in your life, and of course, um, losing them seems to be
Um,
very
they're,
important.
they're the very reason why I want to continue being in the helping profession. I mean, they've helped me develop a level of empathy that is just it's unimaginable.
So you shared that you are a student right now. Is
Right.
there a kind of work that you do?
So prior to that, I was working in the mental health field as a case manager at an inpatient behavioral health hospital, and then I worked crisis intervention and case management. So, that's been my crisis intervention, case management, children and families in crisis. I mean, it's just really a buffet of social services, as I like to put it.
Hmm. From what you've shared, I'm hearing that helping others is a very important character trait for you.
But I'm the type of guy that if I'm driving down the road and I see a turtle crossing the street, I'll pull over and help him across just so he won't get hit by a car.
Yeah, definitely. It's the pointing out something like something or someone in need and
Mhm.
stepping in. Um, but going back to what you mentioned as to what brought you here to counseling, it's the adjustment of going from that life to the student life.
Yeah.
Um, and if you had to name that this challenge of adjustment as if you were naming a chapter in a book, wow, what title would that be?
It would be I would liken it to, have you ever heard of that dog sled race called the Iditarod, which goes across Alaska?
I
And
think I have.
it I would liken it to that because I mean, across this vast territory of uncertainty, but I still feel like I've got what it makes to finish the journey.
I'm hearing that you have a very daunting task, but also a very positive outlook on how the chapter is going to end for you. Would you agree?
I think that's a reflection of the values that my parents instilled in me.
Mm,
It definitely is. I look around me and I see so many other people that I think give up way too easily.
okay.
Um, and then I'm at the other end where I can't accept failure. I won't.
Okay. Now, because it is an adjustment period, who or what in your life as of late has been that support system? Because you've shared, that your parents are not with you and, they played such a big role. What do you say is right now taking that place of support for you?
Well, my younger brother and I can actually, easily say he's my best friend. And then it helps that when I was a student many years ago, one of my former professors is still there. So he knows he knows the person that I am now is consistent with the person that I was, 28 years ago. So I can't say in front of him, man, I feel old, because he can say, well, how the hell do you think I feel? Because I was here when you were here 28 years ago.
Mm,
But
okay.
it's he really understands, and that means a lot. I mean, I'm not surrounded by a lot of people. I mean, I think that if you have a like at this point in life, if you have a few go-to people that know you very well and you know them well, you don't need to surround yourself by hordes of people, because to me that just means that you're craving attention rather than working on meaningful relationships.
Mm. It's good to hear that you have those support systems through this transition. Um, Being that it is an adjustment period, and you titled it to the race in Alaska. If this adjustment period, was externalized, and if we had to um, give it a voice or a personality, how would it describe itself? This adjustment period for you?
So, can I name an actor as a voice?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the actor Christopher Walken?
Yes, I am.
That would be that would kind of be the voice, because sometimes it seems like event that there may be some events that happen that have no relation to the other. And whenever Christopher Walken talks, it seems like none of his thoughts are connected. And I
Mm.
mean that in sort of a humorous way, but he figures out a way to help it make sense. And if I don't understand something right away, I know that there's a purpose. It's just that I haven't figured it out yet, and maybe I need to view it from a different perspective other than what I've been viewing it from before.
Okay. So, Christopher Walken voice and a personality that kind of is confusing, uncertain, not giving you much clues about that end result. Um, in this case, a purpose, right, for everything.
Right.
Okay.
But he always puts whether he means to or not, he always puts a humorous spin on it. So I think that's why it kind of he comes to mind, because it's like he's confusing as hell sometimes, but but he's funny, and that takes the edge off.
Mm. I going back to this adjustment period,
Right?
right? And with the Christopher Walken voice and you know, you feeling because as you shared before that failure is not an option, that, I from what you shared it's almost like perseverance is one of the character traits um
Absolutely, most
for
certainly, yes.
for your storyline, and especially the story that you're trying to write in terms of um your new or found again life as a student. What do you feel this issue tries to say about who you are, and what do you know to be more true um in this case as a student?
You can't let a certain situation define you. You have to define the situation yourself, and that's through your words and actions. I mean, it's just that's what I've learned in working in the field that somebody, say for example, you're dealing with somebody that's you're a substance abuse counselor, and they're inpatient. They're saying all the right things. They've, so to speak, come to Jesus because when there's nothing else to do. But then when they get out in the real world, then they get to find out what they're really made of. I know that. I mean, it's like my dad, he persevered. My mom persevered. I mean, they came from difficult backgrounds, but if you were to ever meet them, you wouldn't know where they came from unless they told you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I keep even when I'm going through a lot, I try to keep a brave face. I don't put everything out on social media like people tend to do. You will never see pictures of the foods that I eat because I don't think that, I know that when you're on somebody's Facebook page, you're giving a glimpse into their life, but the things that I post are reflective of who I am, like videos of puppies and otters, something kind and caring and compassion. That's what keeps me centered, even in the most difficult times.
What I want to highlight is the fact that you you touch on that empowerment, right? Of